Hello, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the van. And today you find me in a slightly somber mood. Oh, hang on, I'll start that again. Hello, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the van. Today you find me in a slightly somber mood. I've spotted something on the outside of my van that I'm not very happy about. Rust. There's rust on my van. I've only had it 6 months. It's not part of the van itself, so Fiat are not responsible for this. I'll take you around now and show you where the rust is, but I'm still not very happy about it, and I think I'm going to have to do something about it, if I can. Remember, my DIY skills are limited, but I think this needs looking at. I'll show you what it is, and then see where we can go from there. So I'm around the side of the van here. This is what I'm talking about here. These little brackets that hold the taps for the freshwater and wastewater. This paint, can you see that? It's just peeling off. See that? Just peeling off, and it's rusty. This one's the same. All rusty and peeling. I'll take those brackets off, and then what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to paint them with Hammerite or something like that. But I need to clean them up with a wire brush first. But I'm going to get myself a little rug to lie on. Now, it looks like a nice, lovely sunny day, but trust me, it's bloody freezing out here. I think this one's the worst. I'm not sure what I'm doing here, as usual, so bear with me. Right, they're just short screws. There you go. So if I take this Jubilee clip off here, I should be able to take the pipe off, and then I can take this into the garage, and I've got better leverage to take the tap off and give this a good clean up with a wire brush. I'll just loosen this little Jubilee clip off. I hope you can see that. Yep, that's loose. And then, there you go. That's that tap off. Look at that in there. Terrible, that. So that needs a clean up, and then I think it's going to need some Hammerite, something like that. So I'll have to, I haven't got any of that. My tools are limited, so I'll have to go and get some. But I'm going to clean this up first. I'll do one tap at a time, I think. Right, well, I've come round into the van for this bit because it's cold outside. These two screws came out very easily. These were holding the bracket on underneath the van. Now, I've heard people say there's a Phillips screw or a posi drive screw. Now, to me, I don't know the difference, I'll be honest. And it's just the cross-shaped head. I call it a Phillips screw. I'll try and give you a close-up of the screw head. There you go. That's me in the background. Okay, so there's the screw. That's a Phillips screw, I think, and there's two of them holding that bracket on. As you can see there, there's a lot of rust in it. Can you see there? I can never tell, because I can't see a thing these days without these glasses on. While I'm on the subject, Home Bargains I get these glasses from, and they're like 99p a pair or something like that. Can't get them, not in stock. They obviously come from China. They can't get hold of them now, so I'm struggling. I've got a couple of pairs with loose arms, so if my videos tend to be out of focus, or I'm like over here saying hello there, welcome back to the channel, it's because I can't see a bloody thing. All right, and I'm down to 2 pairs of glasses and I can't get hold of any at the moment, so you gotta bear with me on that one. To get this off, I used my drill with the screwdriver bit in. That's one tool I went out and bought because I thought it would come in handy, and I use it all the time for everything. And I've said before, all you need is a hammer and a drill and you can do any job. You might not be able to do it properly, but you could do it to my standard. What I've done is I've took that off using my drill with these Phillips screw heads, okay? And then the Jubilee clip that holds the pipe on that runs down to here, I took off with just a normal flat blade screwdriver. I've took that off and that just slid off. When it comes to taking this off, this is quite tight, and I'll tell you why. Is because when I first got the van, it used to leak from here. It's probably what's caused the rust, to be honest with you. And when I went back into the dealers for some warranty repairs, I did mention it to them, and they said they'd fixed it, they'd tightened it up. So because they've tightened it up, I don't think this is going to be easy to get off. But this is where one of the rusty old tools that my dad left me, that I inherited, that's where this comes in. This is what he left me. Where is it? This is where no, that's a Kit Kat. That's a chunky Kit Kat. He didn't leave me that. Julie left me that for later. He left me this. Okay. Now, I'm sure he told me that this was called a Stilson. I always thought that was cheese. Anyway, if that is a Stilson, then that's what I'm going to use, because it's one of the few tools I've got that'll fit around this big nut here, you see. If it's not called a Stilson, I'm looking like a bloody idiot because he's wound me up again. So if it is a Stilson, great. If it isn't, please leave in the comments below what it is actually called. I know it's like an adjustable spanner type of thing, and this little wheel winds up and down and it moves this up and down. This here goes on there, and there you go, it is turning. Right, this is quite tight, and I think it's probably quite tight because they've nipped it up very tight, because oh, it looks like it's got some sort of white gunge around it as well, like silicone or something like that. So I'll have to go and find some of that as well, I suppose, when I put this back on. So there you go. That's now unscrewing from there, and there you go. That's that end off, okay? So this will just come out of there now. There you go. And as you can see around there, there's a lot of white gunge that they've stuck around there just to seal it, I suppose, to stop it leaking, because it was leaking. But that's that plastic tap off now, and that leaves me with this metal bracket to go and clean up with a wire brush and give it a coat of paint and cover that rust up. Clearly it's an area that's going to need some attention, because it's an area where there's always going to be water. Not only is it under the van that picks up all the road spray and the muck that comes off the road, but it's on the tap. So every time you turn the tap off, you're gonna get a bit of water running around there. With that being said, I'm gonna go and get a wire brush now, and I'll come back to you in a second. Unless I'm very much mistaken, there's a wire brush in here somewhere. Turns out I am very much mistaken, and I don't have a wire brush. Now, just before we go any further, I'm sick of people saying when I've got my glasses on that I look like George Clooney. All right? I'm getting sick of it. So I'm gonna have to take my glasses off just so you can calm yourselves down, ladies, all right? Now that that's out of the way, let's go and have a look at these taps. I can't see you now, I can't see the screen anymore on the camera, but hang on a minute. There you go, George Clooney. No, I'm only joking, I know I don't look like George Clooney. Brad Pitt. I'm gonna nip out now to the local shop and get myself a wire brush if I can, and I need to get some Hammerite paint anyway. Okay, in the end, what I ended up doing is going to B&M. Everybody knows that store, B&M Bargains, okay? Because I was looking for a bargain. Who doesn't like a bargain? I love a bargain, me. So, without further ado, I'll show you what I've got. Right, I got some of this PTFE thread seal tape, and that was £1. Bargain, £1. I put my bargains over here. Stanley wire and nylon brushes, ×3. Okay, so you get 3 little wire brushes there. Little plastic, they're plastic, little plastic handles, but I think they're going to be perfect for getting in all the little nooks and crannies. And they were £2.99 from B&M. When I got to B&M, they did have some Hammerite paint, but they had different types. They had spray-on stuff for barbecues, and they had paint-on stuff with a paintbrush. I got a tin of paint. There you go. And that's Hammerite direct to rust metal paint, smooth black. Okay, so as you can see, that's a small tin of paint. I'll give you some perspective for that. There, next to my head, look. I've either got an enormous head, or that's not a very big tin of paint. So that's a small tin. It's like Tiny Tim. It's a tiny tin. It's a tiny tin of paint, okay? Merry Christmas, everyone. It's a tiny tin of paint. It's not a Tiny Tim at all. That's a whole different story. It's a tiny tin of paint. It's Hammerite black. Look there, you can see on the top, and it's £8. That was £8. I know what you're thinking. £8 for a tin of paint that small. You could have bought Tiny Tim. Because I bought a tin of paint and not the spray paint, I need to buy a paintbrush as well. And that is a 1/2 inch or 12mm to you, no loss paintbrush, because we don't want to lose any of our hair, you know. Rick's got a problem with that already, hasn't you, Rick? Nice little paintbrush there to do the paintbrushing with. For less than 15 quid, I'm going to tidy this job up, I'm going to get rid of the rust, and with these little wire brushes, I'm going to wire brush the things down. So, without further ado, let's crack on. I'm going to put this towel just to cover my table, because I don't want to damage my table at all, and I'm not doing this outside because it's cold out there, okay? As you can see, I've got my coat on. So I'm going to put this towel on just to protect my table, and then there's the bracket there, look, there's a bracket. Let's get right into that little crevice. Nobody wants dirt in their crevice. Ah, see, that was a good investment, those little wire brushes. So let's get all this loose rust off here. Right, I'm going to clean all this loose rust off and I'll come back to you in a minute. Okay, so I think that's ready for painting now. I've cleaned off all the loose rust, back to the bare metal, and now I'm just going to go over it with a paintbrush. Right, here's the paint. We're going to try not to get it everywhere. Oh, now this is very glossy, this paint, compared to the old one. It doesn't say on the tin how long it takes to dry. I don't want to just slap it on. Even if it appears like I'm just slapping it on. I'm not, I'm concentrating and doing my best here. Now it says if you need 2 coats to leave an hour between coats, so I think it probably takes an hour to dry. So I'm going to paint this and I'm going to go away and come back in an hour. And if the camera isn't picking this up, I'd just say that looks perfect. That looks like a professional job. Two screws, same as the other one, and it drops down. I dropped the screw the same as the other one. Now this is a push fitting this side, so we should be able to just push that in and slide it out. Yep, there you go. Now this one's not so bad, so again we'll get that cleaned up and see where we'll go from there. So while the paint's drying on that first bracket, I've took this second bracket off. As you can see here, this is the freshwater drain. Now this one's not quite as bad as the other one, but it still has got rust on it. Getting this off here, how easy is this going to be? Oh, it's as simple as that. Just screws off. You got to be happy with that. And then that comes out of there. You can see all this. I'll tilt the camera down a bit for you. You don't need to see my face, do you? But you do need to see this. This has got a bit of a rubber sort of grommet or washer, a rubber washer on it. Now I've got to remember where that goes. So let's have a look. That goes on the back under the white thing. This one's not half as bad, look. Not half as bad, that. But it does have some rust in the crevice as normal. All seem to get rust in the crevice and a little bit on the bottom there. So we'll clean it up anyway. Now I agree, it may not be the neatest job in the world, but if it's going to stop it rusting, it's been worthwhile doing. So I'm going to put that on there. Doesn't need painting on the back side at all, I don't think. No, it doesn't. So I'll put that on there and then I can paint this one the same as the other one. I'll just have to go and get my paintbrush because I've washed it out. Wish I had a vice. But I haven't got any. Now just while I'm here, I'm going to put some of this tape around this blue tap. I haven't got a clue what I'm doing here, but apparently this is supposed to stop it leaking. There you go. I've got some tape round. I've just snap that off. Ugh, stuck in my finger. So nothing more to do now apart from wait for those to dry and then I'll be able to put them back on. Hopefully they won't look terrible. It's going to take a while for it to dry, so I'm going to go and have a cup of coffee and then come back to this in a little bit. I'm starting to lose the light now, so if it gets dark I may have to finish this job off tomorrow. It says an hour between coats, so I'm thinking an hour might be enough for it to dry, but I'll let you know on that. So what we've got now, right, it's exactly 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so we'll come back out and have a look at this at 4 o'clock. Last night it got too dark to continue with this job because the paint work was still wet. Now, I've come out to have a look at it today, and to be honest with you, I'm not all that happy with the finish. I mean, there's no rust on there now, which is loads better than it was, because it just looked terrible. And from a distance, it looks okay. Okay, I'll get this push fitting on first. It's got the pipe on there, and I can see where it goes. It actually doesn't look bad now it's back on the van. Phew, I tell you what, when that wind blows up your jumper, bloody freezing. Okay, let's get these screws lined up. Okay, that's that screw back in. Right, I'll go and get the other bracket. Just one more bracket to put on. I've got the Jubilee clip in my car because it fell off last night with the wind, but I managed to find it this morning. So I'll go and get the other bracket, I'll get this screwed on, and that's that job done. Okay, I have to make sure I put it on in a direction that I can actually see the screw. Push that pipe on. Right up to there. That's it. Okay. Whew, that wind's blowing right up my jumper. That's it. Okay, that's those taps back on. Okay, I'll just try and show you these now. There's the brackets painted and back on. Hope you can see that. And there's the other one there. Now, they actually look okay from when they're under there. So, if the rust comes through again, I'll get those powder coated. But for now, I'm happy with that little job. Hey, I'll tell you what, it's bloody windy out here. Okay, so that's that little job done. I've painted those brackets. The finish on it is okay, and it actually looks quite good when it's in place. It looks a hell of a lot better than being rusty, that's for certain. And hopefully that hammerite paint will stop that rust coming back through. If it does decide to show its face again, I think I'll take those brackets off and I'll pop them into somewhere to get them sandblasted and powder coated. All that's left for me to do now is tidy up, clean away all these tools and the paint, and get rid of this towel and clean the van. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye now. Bye.